Mercy the Mad here with a video about ogre camps. A quick guide to getting 3 camps by turn 3 playing as Greasus, and a particularly cheesy exploit that allows you to just have an unlimited number of ogre camps. I'll just put the battle difficulty on easy so I can quickly show you this. If you play as Greasus, you can take out this first army here, auto resolve that. And then you can use Stomping Grounds to give you 250 extra meat on Greasus. And then you can move back over here, a bit more, and pop down your first camp. And you can move back this way, recruit another lord, recruit some units, recruit another lord at your new camp, and start research to increase your camp limit in 2 turns. Turn 2, you can move up to Sack Grimtop. You can also bring in one of your other lords so they can get some meat as well. Again, I'm just auto-resolving these on easy, but you can fight these battles manually. Both armies get meat from the battle, and Greasus gets extra from sacking. Then move your 2 armies up towards Moorgate, but not too far. This is on legendary difficulty. You basically want to move pretty much exactly where I'm moving. Estimate so that your front army is going to be just in range to hit Moorgate settlement next turn, and Greasus a little bit back, but within reinforcement range, so that the enemy faction leader Gar won't attack you because Greasus is reinforcing, but he won't move away too far. Ideally, if you're playing on legendary difficulty and you do it just how I have, he'll occupy the settlement, or he'll be within reinforcement range of the settlement. Also give him an extra campaign movement range, and give Greasus the extra campaign movement range as well if you want. Bring this lord up, recruit some units with him, recruit an extra lord, but maybe just keep them back at the settlement. If you're playing on a different difficulty, or you haven't got your lords in exactly the right place, then he might wander off somewhere, but ideally you want Guard to stay around the Moorgate so that you can kill him on turn 3. Turn 3, your technology is finished and you have extra camp capacity, so you can drop a camp with Greasus. And then we can go up and attack Gar. Bring up Greasus to reinforce, bring up your other ogres, and see all the amount of meat that the different ogres have. Take out Gar's army. Just sack the settlement, no need to occupy it. And then because we've defeated the chieftain of the Cross Clubs tribe, we now get to confederate them. And you'll notice that all of the ogre lords involved in the fight all got meat. So we got like a ton of meat out of that fight. So the more, you want to go around with 4 lords as much as you can, because it kind of multiplies the amount of meat that you're going to get from your battles. And now we've got, now it's turn 3, and we've got 3 ogre camps. You're actually over camp capacity there. So that's one way that you can get over camp capacity, but you can get way more over camp capacity than that. Okay, so another thing you can do is, if we just imagine that we're within, so at the moment we're over our camp limit, but just imagine that we're within our camp limit playing normally. So we don't have this camp, right? So you just got 2 camps, right? But then if you want to push out like far away from here, maybe we want to fight over in Cathay somewhere, it might be useful to have a camp in Cathay. So for example, if we were going to build up the Grimtop camp, we can transfer some meat to the Grimtop camp, and then the Grimtop camp can, build up, go up to tier 2, build up a variety of buildings. One, you want to have a permanent camp, and you want to just be leveling it up as much as you can to get all of these, get all your hero capacity unlocked and get all the other resources of the camp. But also it can be good to have a temporary camp at your front lines. So you want to move, so just say this camp, we might want to move this camp, right? But we move this camp, but then that camp is out for 5 turns. You can't replace that camp for 5 turns. But what you can do, so these camps are out for 5 turns, can't use them for 5 turns. What we can do is just create a new camp. And this camp can just be a temporary camp that we can use that's going to give us all those, they can give us all those bonuses just in this little area around it. So we could, so we could make it generate meat or give us extra loot or whatever. It only takes 2 turns to build the extra loot building. And then once you've got this building, once you've got some basic buildings in there, after 5 turns, your first camp's ready to come back again. So you put the first camp back, but meanwhile you've upgraded your temporary camp. So that if you ever need to move camps again, you can again pop out this temporary camp in between while you're waiting for the 5-turn cooldown. So you can sort of leapfrog your camps, I guess. Have one that's more permanent and have another one that you just sort of have a little bit leveled up that you can utilize in between your placements of your main camps. But then beyond that, there's an exploit where you can actually completely ignore the camp limit and have unlimited camps if you want. You can see in this example, we've got plenty of camps kind of all over the place. We've actually got 9 ogre camps, but our maximum ogre camps is only 1. So what's going on here? Not only are we 9 out of 1 ogre camps, but we can just keep placing more ogre camps. Now we've got 10 out of 1 ogre camps. So what's going on here? The way that the camp limit was introduced in 6.0, you cannot create a new ogre camp tyrant if you've currently placed your maximum number of camps on the actual campaign map. So because we're over our camp limit, we can't create a new ogre camp tyrant, but it only stops us recruiting new tyrants. It doesn't stop us placing tyrants we've already previously recruited. So this means 2 things. As long as you haven't actually placed all of your camps on the map, as long as you're not at your cap, then you can just keep creating new ogre camp tyrants. You can recruit an infinite number of ogre camp tyrants and just store them up in here, as many as you want, until you run out of food. Place a camp, you pack up the camp, and then that ogre tyrant will go back into your pool. Then you'll be below your cap again. Then you just create a new one, pack him up, create a new one, etc. So you can basically just create an infinite number of ogre camp tyrants. And also, as long as you've previously recruited the ogre camp tyrant, you can place as many camps as you want. There's no limit apart from however many tyrants you've chosen to recruit and store up. This one is pretty cheesy. I would not expect that this is the way that the camp system's intended to work. I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't get fixed straight away though, as there's probably some other more important kind of game breaking things that need to be worked on first. But yeah, I wouldn't expect this to be in the game forever. But yeah, you can utilize this to stack camps. I haven't got it set up that way in this particular example, but what you can do is put 2 or 3 camps next to each other. Once they're fully upgraded, you have like minus 50% upkeep for armies in the circle of influence. So you could basically just have full 20 stacks just sitting around, costing you no upkeep. You can stack global recruiting capacity. You can also have meat generated, 20 meat generated for armies in circle of influence. So if you get 2 or 3 camps in proximity to each other, then have like a heap of free armies sitting around, all generating meat every turn just automatically. Not that you should have too many problems with meat, as long as you're rolling around with like 4 lords in all your battles to maximize that meat intake. More camps means, you know, more money buildings. You just increase your economy. And of course, you can drop temporary camps wherever you're fighting at the moment. And once you've got your camps like a little bit leveled up, you can start packing up like semi-leveled up, like tier 3 camps. You could have packed up, ready to drop and use them as temporary camps. So yeah, there's a few things that you can do with ogre camp limits. Thanks heaps to Toboshi for sending me in this save file and letting me know about the camp limit exploit. Thanks also to everyone in the live streams and on Discord that contributed ideas that I've included in this video as well. Thanks guys.